Today's devotion is titled Eyes to Hear and Ears to See. And we're on day 283, and we're on October the 10th. And today's morning rinse is Psalms 28 through 30. And the featured verse today is Psalms 29:5. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. Yes, the Lord breaks in pieces the cedars of Lebanon. So during David's time, the mountains of Lebanon were filled with cedars of the best quality. He actually used the cedar here off this mountain to build his palace, and you can read about that in 2 Samuel 5:1 and 2 Samuel 7:2. These cedars were also acquired when building the temple, and you can read that in Ezra 3:7, and then as well as when Solomon built the palace of the forest of Lebanon. And you can read that in 1 Kings 7:2. So these cedars were a source of wealth, and they symbolized power and prosperity. And due to the fact that, they were associated with wealth and had this symbolization there, it made them a coveted resource as a magnificent source of timber. These cedars, they could reach as high as 130 feet and as large as 8 feet in diameter. That's huge. But no matter what we value on this earth, such as, this extreme value that cedar trees had, God's voice is still more powerful. And we know this, but oftentimes we need to be reminded. And David reminded us that his voice can even split these enormous cedars in half. He said that in his verse. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. Yes, the Lord breaks in pieces the cedars of Lebanon. So his voice breaks these. Can you imagine having a voice that shakes the earth or causes mountains to move? Well, if we listen, we can hear his voice throughout nature, and we can see his wonders across creation. I love that. I love that. And David tells us of many ways we can hear him. We hear his voice in the clapping of waves or the crashing of thunder. We hear him in the birth of a baby animal or the many sounds of the forest. His voice is everywhere. If we look for his voice in those things, we can hear it and recognize it. Do you hear it? And can your eyes see the presence of God's voice? Well, whether God speaks with a whisper or whether he speaks with a shout, everything he says has meaning and purpose, even in nature. And sometimes, God wants us to open our eyes so that we can hear his voice around us more clearly. But sometimes we're to open our ears and hear the clapping of those waves so that we can see more of his glory. May we open our ears and see, and may we open our eyes and hear. Today's challenge to dig deeper is I want you to look around you today with just a new set of eyes and ears. Just look around at what you see. My husband actually sends me photos of fields of flowers because he knows that I love the color yellow and yellow flowers. And he'll just be driving down the highway, and all of a sudden a field of yellow flowers appears, and he'll snap a photo and text it to me, letting me know that he is thinking of me. Look around you today and look around for a new set of ears and a new set of eyes, and be intentional and seek out the majesty of God in everything around you. Hear his voice, see his voice around you. I just want to challenge you today to go out into creation and look for his voice and hear his voice. And today's evening reflection, when you're pulling out your journal and you're reflecting on your day, write down instances from today where you noticed his voice in the things around you that you did not necessarily notice before. Was there anything you learned about his voice while listening and seeing? You know, it's interesting because I love butterflies, and over the last, I don't know, probably 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, I keep seeing butterflies. And there was one day that I was getting ready to go and speak, and a yellow butterfly crossed my path. And I was actually getting ready to speak to several people because I was doing some one-on-one coaching. That's what it was. I was doing some one-on-one coaching at a film festival, and I made the decision to do something for the people that I was coaching. And when I walked out to my car to get the things that, you know, I wanted to gift them, this yellow butterfly flew across me. It was almost like God was saying, I see you. I see what you're trying to do, and it's a good thing. Yesterday I was walking and saw another butterfly pass by. And I don't know what it is about butterflies, but I feel like they're almost a part of God's voice to me. It's almost like the thing that I'm doing, God sees, and he's recognizing that it's a good thing. And it's almost like butterflies mean, you know, it's almost like a little special kiss or hug from God. And little things like that, I hope you know about too. You know, I have a friend who every time she sees a heart rock, she knows that it was a little special something from God. And, you know, other people have their special somethings. And, you know, somebody may have multiple things that you see when you're out in the world in creation. And you know that when you see that thing, you just know and feel this special little hug from God. And I would long to know what your special thing is. I have several. The butterflies are not just, you know, one thing. I have several things. But when we go out into creation, look for things that you can hear his voice. And his voice doesn't have to be audible, just like the butterfly. It's his voice telling me something. And my eyes saw it, but my ears didn't hear a sound. It's just my eyes saw it and my heart ears did. So hear his voice, see his voice. Go out there and look to see what you can do and document it. Document the messages that you get from creation, you know, that God uses in creation to speak to us. You know, write it down. May your eyes have ears and your ears have sight. Eyes to hear and ears to see. If you haven't gotten my devotional, you know there's the show notes. There's a link in the show notes to get my devotional. And I truly hope that today inspired you to just seek out and look for the magnificent things about God. David did. David was like, his voice, it breaks the cedars. And yes, the Lord breaks in pieces the cedars of Lebanon. His voice is powerful. And yet it doesn't have to be this huge noise. It can be just a little butterfly. So I hope that inspired you. Go look and see what you can hear and see today. And I hope today inspired you. And until tomorrow, keep rinsing, reflecting, and repeating.